Hello guys, welcome to Saying What Ifs. So in this video, we will see, what if Goku became Zeno's successor? If you enjoy these kinds of stories, don't forget to show us some love by hitting the like button and subscribing to the channel. Your support means the world to us. Now, let's start the story. Chapter 1. The Cosmic Mantle. The Tournament of Power arena lay in shattered ruins, cosmic dust settling across fractured dimensional planes. Son Goku stood alone at its center, chest heaving with exhaustion. The familiar orange gi torn nearly to shreds. His victory over Jiren had come at tremendous cost, pushing his Ultra Instinct form beyond anything even the gods had witnessed before. Despite this, a smile played across his face, the pure, unaffected expression of someone who fought not for glory, but for the simple joy of testing his limits. That was amazing, Goku. The high-pitched voice of Zeno, or rather, both Zenos, echoed across the emptiness as they floated down toward him, tiny hands clapping with childlike glee. Behind them, the Grand Priest maintained his perpetual serene smile, though something unfamiliar flickered in his eyes as he observed the Saiyan warrior. Thanks. Jiren was super strong. Goku laughed, rolling his shoulder where a particularly brutal blow had nearly shattered it. I thought I was finished there for a second. The Grand Priest tilted his head slightly. Indeed, you surpassed expectations yet again, son Goku. Most interesting. Something in his tone made Goku pause, the hairs on the back of his neck rising despite his exhaustion. He'd learned to trust that instinct, the same one that had saved him countless times in battle. Goku fun, exclaimed one Zeno. Goku strong, affirmed the other. We like Goku, they declared in unison. What happened next occurred so swiftly that even the gods of destruction had no time to react. Both Zenos raised their hands simultaneously, and reality itself seemed to fold inward around Goku. A sensation unlike anything he'd experienced before, not teleportation, not time manipulation, but something far more fundamental, enveloped him. For a fraction of an instant, he existed everywhere and nowhere, perceiving all universes simultaneously. When the universe settled back into coherent form, Goku found himself standing not in the tournament arena, but in a vast crystalline chamber that seemed to extend infinitely in all directions. Beneath his feet, galaxies swirled in miniature. Above his head, cosmic phenomena played out in accelerated time. Where he began, but went silent as he realized he wasn't alone. The Zenos sat upon twin thrones of pure light, their usually playful expressions now bearing an unfamiliar gravity. The Grand Priest stood beside them, his posture more formal than Goku had ever witnessed. Son Goku, the Grand Priest spoke, his voice resonating with harmonic undertones that seemed to vibrate at the quantum level. You stand within the inner sanctum of creation, a place no mortal has ever been permitted to enter. Goku scratched his head, looking around with undisguised wonder rather than appropriate awe. It's pretty, but why am I here? Is there another tournament, or is it about food? I'm starving after that fight. A soft ripple of something like amusement passed through the Grand Priest's expression before quickly vanishing. Neither. You are here because the Omni Kings have made an unprecedented decision. Both Zenos leaned forward on their thrones, their eyes glowing with celestial energy. Goku. They spoke in perfect unison, their childlike voices suddenly layered with ancient power. We choose you. Goku blinked. Choose me for what? To become, began one Zeno. Our successor, finished the other. The words hung in the chamber like physical objects, distorting the space around them. Somewhere distant, Goku heard the shocked gasps of gods who must be observing from some removed vantage. Your successor. But I don't understand. I'm just a fighter. Goku's brow furrowed, his natural honesty compelling him to add, and I'm not very good at sitting still or making decisions about stuff that isn't fighting. The Grand Priest stepped forward. That is precisely why you have been chosen, son Goku. For countless eons, the role of Omni King has been filled by beings of tremendous power but limited perspective. The multiverse requires evolution. We're bored, one Zeno stated plainly. Everything's the same, added the other. You make things interesting. They concluded together. Goku laughed nervously, the gravity of what was happening finally beginning to penetrate his usually carefree demeanor. But what about Earth? My family. Fighting. I can't just leave all that behind. A shimmer of movement caught his attention as a figure stepped from behind the twin thrones, a woman he'd never seen before. Tall and lithe, her skin was the deep purple of twilight, marked with circular patterns that glowed with inner light. Her hair, if it could be called that, seemed composed of floating silver energy that moved with deliberate grace around a face of striking angularity. She wore attire reminiscent of the destroyer gods, yet more elaborate, with cosmic imagery woven into its fabric. That is precisely the point, mortal, she stated, her voice carrying a melodic quality that nonetheless contained unmistakable disdain. You cling to your limited existence when offered cosmic significance. This is why I objected to this absurd proposal. Son Goku. The Grand Priest interjected smoothly. Allow me to introduce Vada, the destroyer goddess in training from Universe 11. She has been studying under Belmod for the past millennium. Vada crossed her arms, studying Goku with critical eyes that seemed to perceive layers of his being beyond the physical. I fail to see how this fighter could possibly inherit the most significant position in existence. He lacks fundamental understanding of cosmic balance, multiversal governance, or the intricate weave of reality itself. Rather than being offended, Goku's face lit up with interest. Wow, you must be really strong if you're training to be a destroyer. Wanna fight sometime? Vada's expression tightened with incredulity. Is combat truly your only response to everything? This perfectly demonstrates my point. Before Goku could respond, another voice joined the conversation, this one soft and rapid, words tumbling over each other in excitement. Fascinating response pattern. Subject demonstrates consistent prioritization of experiential knowledge acquisition through physical testing rather than theoretical understanding, quite consistent with previous observatee. Onal data but contradictory to established prerequisites for cosmic authority paradigms. The speaker emerged from a swirling portal that briefly displayed mathematical equations in its perimeter. She appeared humanoid but with subtle differences. Her skin had an almost translucent quality through which complex patterns sometimes became visible, like circuit diagrams pulsing with energy. Her eyes were entirely silver, without pupils, yet clearly focused on Goku with intense interest. Where Vada projected power and authority, this new arrival radiated intellectual energy so intense it was almost tangible. And this, the Grand Priest continued, is Alara, the cosmic archivist from Universe 3. Alara moved closer to Goku in quick, bird-like movements, her head tilting at precise angles as she studied him. Your achievement of Ultra Instinct represents a fascinating anomaly in the progression models of constructed. The statistical improbability of a mortal reaching such a state without deliberate divine intervention suggests either a fundamental error in our understanding of power acquisition mechanics or an unprecedented evolutionary mutation specific to your biological lineage. Goku's face scrunched up in confusion. Thanks. I think. You're welcome. Alara beamed, apparently taking his response at face value. I've compiled exactly 1,247 questions I'd like to ask regarding your training methodologies. Consciousness during transformative states, and whether you experience quantum-level awareness during peak Ultra Instinct manifestation. Both of you, enough, the Grand Priest commanded gently but firmly. There will be time for such discussions later. For now, Son Goku requires explanation, not interrogation. Turning back to Goku, he continued, the role of Omni King is changing, Son Goku. The multiverse faces threats beyond even Zeno's current understanding, entities from beyond creation itself that seek to unmake everything. The void encroachment has begun. The void? Goku asked, his fighter's instincts instantly alert. Is it strong? Vada made a sound of exasperation. It isn't a tournament opponent. The void is nothingness given consciousness, the antithesis of existence itself. It cannot be punched into submission. Actually, Alara interjected, fingers rapidly tracing calculations in the air that left luminous trails, theoretical models suggest that with sufficient concentration of specific energy frequencies, a physical confrontation might indeed be possible under certain quantum conditions, though the probability of Alara, Vada cut her off sharply. Sorry, I get carried away with theoretical applications. Alara's silver eyes blinked rapidly. The important fact is that we've detected void incursions across 3 universes. Ready? subtle reality destabilizations that conventional cosmic authorities haven't been equipped to recognize or counter. The Grand Priest nodded solemnly. Which brings us to why you are here, Son Goku. The Omni Kings believe your unique perspective, a mortal who has transcended conventional limitations through sheer determination and unusual thinking, is exactly what is needed. Not to replace their power, but to direct it differently. Quote, Goku crossed his arms, his expression growing unusually serious. I still don't understand why me. There are plenty of smart people out there. Bulma, Gohan, why understand all this cosmic stuff way better than I do? Intelligence alone is insufficient, the Grand Priest explained. What is required is something far rarer, the ability to see beyond established patterns. To find paths where none appear to exist. You possess this quality in abundance, though you apply it primarily to combat. And if I say no? Goku asked simply. A heavy silence filled the chamber, broken only when both Zenos spoke simultaneously. We cannot force you, but all will end without you. Goku frowned, looking down at his hands, the hands that had defeated gods, protected Earth countless times. Held his sons when they were born. Hands meant for fighting, not for holding the fate of reality. Can I think about it? He asked finally. You may have 3 mortal days, the Grand Priest replied. During this time, Vada and Alara will accompany you to Earth to answer your questions and observe. They will also begin preliminary measures against void incursions, regardless of your decision. Vada's expression darkened. You expect me to play babysitter to a mortal. I expect you to fulfill your duty to the multiverse, the Grand Priest replied, steel beneath his pleasant tone. If Son Goku is to be Zeno's successor, he must understand the role of destroyers. Who better to teach him than one who has recently mastered those lessons herself? And I can provide contextual information about multiversal governance structures, power distribution frameworks, and the historical precedents for cosmic authority transition. Alara added enthusiastically. Plus, I've never been to Earth. My database indicates it has over 8,000 distinct varieties of what you call food, an inefficient but fascinating approach to energy consumption. Goku couldn't help but laugh. Well, I guess I can show you some good places to eat, at least. Then it is decided, the Grand Priest concluded. Return to Earth, Son Goku. Consider carefully what has been offered. The fate of all existence may depend on your choice. Quote, with another folding of reality, Goku found himself standing in the familiar surroundings of his mountain home, with 2 decidedly unfamiliar divine beings at his side. Vada looked around with thinly veiled disdain. So this is where a potential Omni King resides. A primitive dwelling on an underdeveloped world. It's home, Goku replied simply, stretching his arms above his head. And speaking of home, Chi-Chi, I'm back, and I brought guests. Alara winced at the volume, her silver eyes widening. Fascinating vocalization technique. Is this typical Earth communication protocol? Before Goku could answer, the door to the modest house flew open, and Chi-Chi stormed out, wooden spoon in hand like a weapon. Son Goku, you vanish for weeks for that tournament. And now you show up with. She stopped abruptly, finally registering the appearance of his companions. Who are they? She asked, suspicion instantly replacing anger. This is gonna take some explaining, Goku said, scratching the back of his head with a nervous laugh. The explanation took hours, not helped by Alara's tendency to launch into elaborate technical digressions or Vada's reasonably impatient corrections when Goku oversimplified cosmic concepts. By the time they finished, night had fallen, and Chi-Chi sat silently at the kitchen table, her tea long grown cold. So, she said finally, voice unnervingly calm. The most powerful beings in existence want my husband to become some sort of god of everything. Technically, the position encompasses far more than just godhood, Alara began. The Omni King exists as a fundamental aspect of reality itself, maintaining the. Not now, Alara, Goku interrupted gently, recognizing the dangerous stillness in his wife's demeanor. And if you refuse, Chi-Chi continued as if there had been no interruption, everything might be destroyed by this void thing. That's pretty much it, Goku confirmed. Chi-Chi closed her eyes, took a deep breath, and then fixed Goku with a gaze that had made even the mighty Saiyan warrior tremble on more than one occasion. Only you, Son Goku. Only you could go to a fighting tournament. NT and come back with an offer to rule the universe. Multiverse, Alara corrected automatically, then shrank back when Chi-Chi's gaze turned toward her. I haven't decided yet, Goku assured his wife. I wanted to talk to you and Gohan first. And Vegeta too. Vada, who had been observing the domestic scene with clinical detachment, finally spoke. Your decision affects infinitely more than your immediate social connections, Goku. Trillions of lives across multiple universes hang in the balance. Yeah, but these are the people I care about most, Goku replied without hesitation. If I'm going to do this, I need to know they'll be okay. Something shifted in Vada's expression, not quite softening, but a flicker of reassessment. She had expected many responses from this potential Omni King, but such straightforward loyalty hadn't been among them. Your family would be protected, of course, she stated. As connections to the Omni King, they would receive divine guardianship. That's not what I mean, Goku said, shaking his head. They don't need protection. They need me to be here, to be their husband and father. Chi-Chi's hard expression cracked slightly, a lone tear trailing down her cheek. Goku, is physical co-location truly necessary for fulfillment of familial functions? Alara asked, genuine curiosity in her voice. My observational data suggests that emotional bonds persist despite spatial separation. Quote, it's not that simple, Chi-Chi began, but was interrupted by a sharp knock at the door. Goku sensed the familiar energy instantly. That's Gohan. He opened the door to find not only his elder son but Vegeta as well, both wearing expressions of concerned confusion. Dad, Gohan said immediately, we felt strange energy signatures appear with you. What's going on? Vegeta's eyes narrowed as he assessed the two divine beings standing in Goku's humble kitchen. Kakarot, he growled, using Goku's Saiyan name, why are there entities with god-level energy in your house? It's a long story, Goku sighed, but I guess we need to go through it again. Dawn was breaking by the time they finished the second round of explanations. Gohan sat processing the information with scholarly focus, while Vegeta paced the small living room like a caged predator. This is absurd, the Saiyan Prince finally declared. Kakarot is Omni King. The fool can barely remember to tie his shoes. I wear fighting boots, Goku pointed out helpfully. They don't have laces. That's exactly my point, Vegeta snapped, though a reluctant smirk tugged at his mouth. Gohan adjusted his glasses, his academic mind already analyzing possibilities. The concept isn't entirely without merit. Dad has consistently demonstrated unique problem-solving abilities and an uncanny intuitio. And about fighting that transcends conventional thinking. If these qualities could be applied to cosmic governance. Don't tell me you're actually considering this nonsense, Vegeta cut in. I'm just saying. Gohan began. He's right, Vada interrupted, addressing Vegeta directly for the first time. Your assessment is correct, Saiyan Prince. By conventional measures of wisdom and knowledge, son, Goku is woefully inadequate for the position. Hey, Goku protested, though without much conviction. However, Vada continued, conventional approaches have failed to identify the void threat until it was already encroaching. Perhaps unconventional selection criteria are warranted. Alara nodded enthusiastically. Precisely. Cognitive diversity enhances problem-solving capacity across complex systems. Historical precedent indicates that paradigm-shifting discoveries frequently originate from individuals operating outside established methodological frameworks. Everyone stared at her blankly. Sometimes you need someone who thinks differently, she clarified, looking slightly embarrassed. But why must it be Kakarot? Vegeta demanded, a complex mixture of emotions behind the question. Why not someone who actually aspires to such power? That's exactly why it can't be someone like you, Vegeta, Goku said quietly, unusual perception cutting through his normal obliviousness. Anyone wants that kind of power probably shouldn't have it. A heavy silence fell as Vegeta absorbed this simple yet profound observation. We need to see what we're up against, Goku decided suddenly. Is void thing. I need to understand what it is before I can decide anything. That might be possible, Alara said hesitantly. I've been tracking disturbance patterns that indicate a potential Inku. RSION point not far from here, approximately 87 kilometers northeast, in what you call East City. Vada's posture straightened instantly. You detected an incursion on this planet and didn't inform me immediately. It's only a micro fissure, Alara defended, barely detectable even with my enhanced perceptual abilities. I was planning to investigate after our diplomatic obligations here were complete. What exactly happens during these incursions? Gohan asked, professional curiosity overtaking concern. Alara's expression became uncharacteristically grave. Reality thins. Physics becomes optional. And sometimes, things come through. Void echoes, we call them. Fragments of unbeing that corrupt whatever they touch. Then that's where we're going, Goku declared, rising to his feet with renewed purpose. Right now, Vada studied him with new interest. You surprise me, son Goku. I expected hesitation or denial. If something's threatening my home, I want to see it for myself, he replied simply. Then, turning to his family, Chi-Chi, Gohan, I need you to stay here. Vegeta, you should. If you think I'm missing this, Kakarot, you're an even bigger fool than I thought, Vegeta interrupted. Arms crossed in defiance. Goku grinned. I was going to say you should come with us. If this thing's as dangerous as they say, we might need all the help we can get. I'm going too, Dad, Gohan stated firmly. If this involves cosmic-level threats, my research experience could be valuable. And I suppose I'll just stay here and worry, as usual, Chi-Chi sighed, though there was assigned understanding in her eyes rather than anger. Go, but all of you better come back in one piece. Goku moved to her side, placing a gentle kiss on her forehead. We will, I promise. The tender moment was broken by Alara's excited voice. The fissure is expanding. We need to depart immediately if we want to observe the incursion process from inception. Is she always like this? Vegeta muttered to Vada as they moved outside. The destroyer in training's lips curved in the barest hint of a smile. You have no idea. East City sprawled below them as they hovered high in the morning sky, Goku, Vegeta, and Gohan under their own power, while Vada and Alara maintained their positions with the effortless authority of divine beings. From this height, the metropolis appeared normal, bustling with early morning traffic and activity. I don't sense anything unusual, Gohan observed, extending his key awareness outward. You wouldn't, Alara explained. Void energy exists perpendicular to conventional reality. It doesn't register on normal sensory spectrums. She raised her hand, and the air before her shimmered as if a transparent screen had materialized. Complex patterns of light danced across its surface, coalescing into a map of the city below with a pulsing dark spot near its center. There, she indicated, the fissure is located beneath that commercial district. Vada's expression darkened as she studied the display. It's larger than you implied, Archivist. This is no micro fissure. It's grown exponentially in the past hour, Alara admitted, concern evident in her voice. This acceleration is unprecedented in my observational record. Without waiting for further discussion, Goku placed 2 fingers against his forehead, reached out to the others, and in an instant, Ey vanished, reappearing in the middle of a busy shopping district. A little warning next time, Kakarot, Vegeta snarled, quickly stepping aside as a startled pedestrian nearly collided with him. Goku was already focused elsewhere, his head tilted as if listening for something beyond normal hearing. There's something wrong here. I can feel it. Humans moved around them, going about their morning routines, seemingly oblivious to both the divine visitors and whatever disturbance Goku was sensing. Yet upon closer inspection, subtle wrongness permeated the scene, shadows that moved slightly out of sync with their owners. Digital displays that momentarily displayed impossible symbols, a flock of birds that flew in perfect geometric patterns. The fissure affects probability fields before physical manifestation, Alara explained, her silver eyes darting rapidly as she recorded observations. Reality becomes flexible. As if triggered by her words, a tremor passed through the street. Not a physical earthquake, but a shudder in the fabric of existence itself. Pedestrians paused mid-step, expressions flickering between confusion and blank emptiness. Electronic devices emitted discordant tones. The very air seemed to develop texture, patterns of darkness swimming just beyond visual perception. It's beautiful, Gohan whispered, scholarly fascination momentarily overriding caution. It's an abomination, Vada countered sharply, a corruption of fundamental cosmic law. She raised her hand, violet energy gathering at her fingertips. Stand back. I will seal this breach. Wait, Goku interrupted, placing his hand on her arm. Let me see it first. I need to understand what we're fighting. Vada stared at the hand touching her, then at Goku's face, genuine surprise evident in her expression. Few beings in the multiverse would dare to physically restrain a destroyer, even one still in training. You cannot fight the void, Son Goku, she said, though she lowered her arm. He is not an enemy to be defeated through combat. Maybe not, he conceded, but I still need to see it. The distortion intensified, reality rippling outward from a central point in the middle of the street. Space folded inward, forming a swirling vortex of absolute darkness, not the darkness of absence, but a positive, aggressive darkness that seemed to devour light itself. And from this darkness emerged something. It had no definite shape, shifting between vaguely humanoid and utterly alien geometries. Where it passed, color leached from the world. Sound became muffled. The very air seemed to recoil from its presence. Void echo, Alara whispered, actual fear evident in her voice. Class 3, significantly larger than anticipated. The entity paused, as if orienting itself to this new reality. Then it turned, if something without fixed form can turn, toward their small group. It had no eyes, yet they all felt its attention fix upon them with terrible intensity. It's sensing our energy, Gohan realized. Particularly yours, he added, glancing at Vada and Alara. The echo pulsed, darkness spreading outward in tendrils that reached toward nearby humans. Where these tendrils touched, people simply stopped. Not dead, but suspended in a state beyond time, their expressions frozen in brief moments of confusion or terror. Enough observation, Vada declared, cosmic energy flaring around her form. This ends now. She thrust her hand forward, and a beam of concentrated destruction energy, similar to Beerus's but tinged with her signature violet hue, lanced toward the echo. The attack struck true, but instead of destroying the entity, it simply passed through, dissipating harmlessly. Conventional destruction energy is ineffective, Alara noted, still recording data even as the situation deteriorated. The echo exists partially outside normal causality. Then let's try something unconventional, Goku said, dropping into his fighting stance. Energy surged around him as he tapped into his Super Saiyan blue form, the familiar azure aura enveloping his body. Vegeta followed suit immediately, his own blue energy flaring alongside Goku's. Whatever this abomination is, it bleeds on my planet at its peril. Gohan powered up as well, his white aura completing the trio of energy signatures that now dominated the street. Your energy will only draw it closer, Vada warned, frustration evident in her voice. That's the idea, Goku replied with the familiar battle-ready grin that had preceded so many of his greatest victories. Gohan, Vegeta, follow my lead. Moving the blinding speed of his transformed state, Goku launched himself directly at the void echo. Rather than striking it, however, he circled it rapidly, his energy trail creating a spiral pattern around the entity. Vegeta and Gohan immediately understood, positioning themselves to create a triple helix of energy that encased the echo in a cage of light. What are they doing? Vada demanded, turning to Alara. The archivist's silver eyes were wide with sudden understanding. They're creating a frequency interference pattern. The overlapping energy waves are generating a harmonic resonance that, in plain language, archivist. They're using their energy not as a weapon, but as a barrier, Alara simplified. Containing it within a field of pure life force. Within the energy cage, the echo thrashed, its formless body contorting as it sought escape. The tendrils of darkness retracted from the frozen humans, drawn back to the main mass as it focused on the immediate threat. It's working, Gohan called out, maintaining his position in the formation despite the strain evident on his face. Not for long, Vegeta growled, noting how their energy barrier flickered where the darkness pressed against it. We're containing it, not stopping it. Goku's eyes narrowed in concentration as he studied the entity's movements. Something about its reactions triggered a memory, a technique he'd observed long ago. Guys, when I give the signal, pour everything you've got into one final surge, then back away immediately. He called out. What are you planning, Kakarot? Vegeta demanded. Something I learned from the Kai. Goku replied cryptically. Now, all three Saiyans simultaneously intensified their energy output to maximum, creating a blinding flash as their combined power compressed the Echo to a fraction of its original size. In that moment of compression, Goku thrust his hand forward, fingers splayed in a specific pattern. Hakai, he roared, channeling not destruction energy as a god of destruction would, but something different, a hybrid technique that combined the conceptual aspect of divine erasure with his own unique key signature. The Echo shuddered, caught between Existe, NCE and Oblivion as Goku's improvised technique tore at its fundamental structure. For a moment, it seemed the entity would simply absorb this attack as well, but then fractures appeared in its darkness. Lines of Goku's energy burning through like sunlight through storm clouds. With a sound beyond sound, a negative resonance that made reality itself shudder, the Echo collapsed inward and vanished, leaving behind only a faint shimmer in the air where it had been. Goku dropped to one knee, the enormous energy expenditure taking its toll. Vegeta and Gohan landed beside him, both similarly drained but triumphant. Around them, the affected humans began to move again, blinking in confusion as if awakening from an unexpected nap, completely unaware of what had transpired. Vada approached slowly, disbelief written across her features. How? That was impossible. Not impossible, Goku panted, grinning despite his exhaustion. Just had to feel out its rhythm and disrupt it from the inside. Like countering an opponent's technique by matching their movements. You applied combat principles to a cosmic anomaly, Alara stated, her voice tinged with awe. The statistical improbability of success for such an approach was approximately. Dad doesn't care about statistics, Gohan interrupted with a proud smile. He just does what feels right. But he didn't destroy it, Vada pointed out, professional assessment overcoming her surprise. He merely dispersed it. The void essence will reconstitute elsewhere. Maybe, Goku acknowledged, rising to his feet as his breathing steadied. But now I know what we're up against. And I know it can be fought. He turned to face Vada and Alara directly, his expression uncharacteristically serious. I still don't know if I'm the right choice to be this Omni-King thing. I'm not smart like Gohan or strategic like Vegeta. But if that's what's threatening everything. He glanced back at the spot where the Echo had been, where normal humans now walked. Unaware of how close they had come to non-existence. I'll find a way to stop it. Whatever it takes. Something changed in Vada's expression then, a subtle shift from skepticism to cautious reassessment. Perhaps, she said quietly. The Grand Priest's judgment was not as flawed as I initially believed. Oh my goodness, I need to record everything that just happened. Alara exclaimed, silver eyes wide with excitement. The implications for void containment strategies are revolutionary. The application of Mortal Key in triple helix configuration combined with modified conceptual erasure tech. Neek. It completely contradicts established theoretical frameworks. Goku couldn't help but laugh at her enthusiasm. I just did what felt right. That, Alara said, suddenly serious, is precisely what makes you unique, Son Goku. News of what had transpired spread quickly through cosmic channels. By the time they returned to Mount Paozu, the Grand Priest himself was waiting for them, hovering serenely above Goku's modest home. I see you've encountered your first Void Echo, he observed, his perpetual smile revealing nothing of his thoughts. Most illuminating. You knew this would happen, Vada accused. Respect for her superior barely containing her indignation. You deliberately sent us to a planet with an active incursion point. I arranged nothing, the Grand Priest replied calmly. The Void chooses its own targets. Though I admit I suspected Earth might be of interest, given its unusual concentration of divine attention over the millennia. His gaze shifted to Goku. What matters is how Son Goku responded to this threat. A most unconventional approach, but effective in its way. I still have questions, Goku stated firmly. A lot of them, as expected, and you shall have answers, but not here. The Grand Priest gestured, and a portal shimmered into existence beside him. The Omni-Kings request your presence again. They are eager to hear your thoughts. Goku glanced back at his home, where Chi-Chi watched from the doorway, concern evident in her posture. I need to talk to my family first. Of course, the Grand Priest agreed. Family bonds are significant, even on a cosmic scale. Perhaps especially so. Something in his tone suggested personal knowledge behind this observation. You have 1 hour. Then a decision must be made. He vanished as suddenly as he had appeared, the portal remaining behind like a tear in reality. Vegeta approached Goku, uncharacteristic uncertainty in his expression. Kakarot, if you actually do this. Yeah, don't mess it up, the Saiyan prince finished gruffly. And don't forget where you came from. Coming from Vegeta, this was practically a tearful endorsement. Goku smiled. I won't, and I'll still find time to spar with you. I don't care what cosmic rules say. See that you do, Vegeta replied with a smirk. I refuse to have an Omni King the first can easily defeat. Gohan stepped forward next, adjusting his glass in the familiar gesture that always appeared when he was thinking deeply. Dad, I've been calculating the implications of what we saw today. If that was just one echo, and they're appearing across multiple universes. I know, son, Goku said quietly. It's bad, but if anyone can find an unexpected solution, it's you, Gohan continued, genuine pride in his voice. Your whole life has been about surpassing impossible limits. Goku placed a hand on his son's shoulder. Thanks, Gohan. That means a lot. As father and son shared this moment, Vada observed from a short distance, her expression thoughtful. Alara appeared at her side, still making notes in her ethereal data display. You've revised your assessment of him, Alara observed without looking up from her work. He's still woefully unprepared, Vada replied stiffly. But, Vada conceded reluctantly, there is potential there. His instincts are unlike anything I've encountered in millennia of training. His energy signature is fascinating. Alara agreed enthusiastically. The harmonics suggest a natural resonance with fundamental creation patterns, almost as if he was always meant for this role, Vada finished quietly. Yes, I've considered that possibility as well. They watched as Goku walked toward his house, toward the conversation that would ultimately determine his decision. The fate of the Multiverse hanging on a family discussion in a modest mountain home. Would you accept him? Alara asked suddenly. As Omni King, Vada was silent for a long moment before answering. I believe I could serve under his authority. Given time. Quote, high praise indeed from the most promising destroyer candidate in 12 universes, Alara noted with a small smile. Don't push your luck, Archivist, Vada warned, though without real heat. Inside the house, Goku sat at the kitchen table across from Chi-Chi, their hands clasped together in rare stillness. I never wanted any of this, he admitted. Fighting, yes. Adventures, definitely. But not responsibility for everything. I know, Chi-Chi said softly. That's never been who you are. But that thing today, if there are more of them, and they're getting stronger. Then you'll do what you always do, Chi-Chi finished for him. You'll protect everyone, no matter the cost to yourself. Tears gathered in her eyes, but she blinked them away. It's why I fell in love with you. Even though it drives me crazy sometimes. If I do this, Goku said hesitantly, things will change. I don't know how much time I'll have here, with you and the boys. Chi-Chi squeezed his hands tightly. Goku, things have always changed with you. You've died twice. You've been gone for years training. You've fought gods and monsters. Through all of it, we've remained your family. She reached up to touch his face gently. We'll find a way to make it work. We always do. Goku leaned into her touch, drawing strength from the connection they'd shared through decades of impossible challenges. I love you, Chi-Chi. I know, she replied with a watery smile. Now go save reality, but be home for dinner when you can. Outside, the portal pulsed gently, Mike energies swirling in patterns of increasing complexity. The hour was nearly up. Goku stepped out of his house, family behind him, divine representatives before him, and the weight of all existence settling onto his shoulders. Yet somehow, his posture remained as relaxed and confident as ever, the stance of a man who had faced impossible odds his entire life and emerged victorious through sheer determination and an uncanny ability to see solutions where others saw only obstacles. I've made my decision, he announced simply. Vada and Alara stood straighter, sensing the weight of the moment. I'll do it, Goku continued. I'll become Zeno's successor, but on my terms. And those are? Vada asked, one eyebrow raised. Goku's trademark grin spread across his face, the expression that had seeded some of his greatest victories and most audacious gambits. First, I keep training. No sitting on a throne all day. Alara blinked rapidly. The Omni King traditionally maintains a stationary position at the center of cosmic governance. Second, Goku continued undeterred, I stay connected to Earth. This is my home, and these are my people. He gestured to his family standing in the doorway. I won't abandon them. Vada's lips thinned, but she didn't object outright. Third, Goku's expression grew serious, I need teachers. I know I don't understand most of this cosmic stuff. So I need people who do, who can help me learn what I need to know. His gaze moved between Vada and Alara meaningfully. You want us to teach you? Vada clarified, genuine surprise in her voice. Why not? You're already supposed to be showing me the ropes, right? Might as well make it official. Alara's face lit up with excitement. I could develop a comprehensive educational curriculum covering the fundamental principles of cosmic governance, multiversal history, reality manipulation basics, divine protocol. Maybe start with the basics, Goku suggested with a nervous laugh. I'm more of a hands-on learner anyway. I imagine you are, Vada murmured, something unreadable flickering across her expression. The portal pulsed more intensely, the Grand Priest's energy signature emanating from its depths as a gentle reminder of the waiting Omni Kings. It's time, Goku said, taking a deep breath. He turned back to his family one last time, giving them a thumbs up and his brightest smile. Don't worry, I'll figure this Omni King business out, just like everything else. That, Vegeta muttered, is exactly what worries me. As Goku approached the portal, Vada and Alara fell into step beside him, not behind him. As protocol might dictate for a future Omni King, but as equals on an uncertain journey. You realize, Vada said quietly as they reached the threshold, that what you're proposing is unprecedented in cosmic history. The Omni King has always been separate, above all others. Yeah, well, Goku replied, stepping into the swirling energies without hesitation, I've never been much good at following rules. Might as well start changing them now. As the portal enveloped them, transporting them toward a future where a simple fighter from Earth would ascend to cosmic authority, Lara's voice drifted back to those watching. Statistical probability calculations suggest an interesting future trajectory with approximately 72% chance of fundamental paradigm shifts across multiversal governance structures. How exciting! Quote, the portal closed behind them with a soft sound like distant laughter, whether from the cosmos itself or merely the wind through the mountain trees, none could say for certain. And so began the unprecedented ascension of Son Goku, warrior, father, friend, and reluctant cosmic inheritor, toward a destiny no one could have foreseen, least of all himself. Chapter 2. Harmonies and Discords. The Omni Palace existed everywhere and nowhere simultaneously, a cosmic contradiction anchored at the precise center of the multiverse yet extending into dimensions beyond mortal comprehension. Its crystalline spires refracted existence itself, creating prismatic cascades of reality that flowed like liquid light through its ever-shifting architecture. For countless eons, it had remained unchanging in its changeability, a perfect reflection of its childlike yet all-powerful occupants. Until Son Goku arrived. Whoa, this place is huge, Goku's voice echoed through the grand hall as he spun in circles, taking in the impossible geometries with childlike wonder rather than appropriate reverence. 3 weeks had passed since his agreement to become Zeno's successor, and still, the palace inspired awe in him. How many rooms are there again? Alara materialized a shimmering data display, silver eyes scanning information only she could interpret. The Omni Palace STS in 17 simultaneous dimensional states with approximately 4,327 definable spaces in each configuration, though the number fluctuates based on cosmic resonance patterns and the Omni King's whims. Goku scratched his head. So, a lot, indeed, Vada replied dryly, adjusting her formal attire with practiced precision. As destroyer in training, her violet and gold uniform resembled Belmont's, but with subtle feminine adaptations that somehow made it more intimidating rather than less. Which makes your insistence on converting the Eastern Contemplation Chamber into a training room all the more baffling. You have thousands of spaces to choose from. Yeah, but that one has the best view of the universes. Goku protested, gesturing toward the newly repurposed chamber where a Traditi Onal meditation platform had been unceremoniously pushed aside to make room for various training apparatus. Through its crystal walls, the swirling galaxies of multiple universes provided a spectacular backdrop. Besides, I think better when I'm moving. The Grand Priest materialized beside them, his perpetual serene smile betraying nothing of his thoughts. The Omni Kings have never shown interest in how the palace spaces are utilized beyond their immediate presence chambers. Your adaptations are technically permissible. Something in his tone suggested personal disapproval despite the official permission. Goku had quickly learned that cosmic bureaucracy operated on layers of unspoken protocol that often baffled him more than any battle strategy. "See, it's fine," Goku declared cheerfully, missing or ignoring the subtext. "Now, what's on the schedule for today?" "More lessons on cosmic whatever. Multiversal governance principles," Alara corrected, her excitement undiminished. Weeks of attempting to educate Goku on increasingly complex cosmic concepts. Today we're covering hierarchical authority distributions across divine administrative frameworks. Goku's expression fell visibly. "More sitting and listening. I was hoping for something more active. Your training in divine matters cannot be solely physical, Son Goku," the Grand Priest admonished gently. "The L of Omni King requires comprehensive understanding of." He paused mid-sentence, head tilting slightly as if listening to something beyond normal perception. The subtle movement immediately caught everyone's attention. The Grand Priest rarely interrupted himself. "It appears," he continued after a moment, "that your wish for activity may be granted sooner than anticipated. We have received an urgent communication from Universe 10. Vada straightened instantly, her casual disdain replaced by professional focus. "Void activity. Unclear," the Grand Priest replied. "However, the message comes directly from Rumshi's attendant, Kus. She reports unusual harmonic disturbances affecting planetary alignments throughout their galactic center." "Harmonic disturbances," Goku echoed, brow furrowing. "Like music." "In a sense," the Grand Priest acknowledged. "The fundamental vibrations that maintain cosmic structure have been compared to music by many cultures. When these frequencies destabilize, reality itself becomes malleable," Alara interjected, fingers already dancing through multiple data screens. "Similar to the effects we observed during the void incursion on Earth, but potentially more widespread." "Then we should investigate," Goku decided immediately, stretching his arms above his head in anticipation. "I've been cooped up in the palace for weeks. This is not a recreational excursion," Vada reminded him sharply. "If void corruption has reached Universe 10's central systems, we face a significant escalation of the threat." "I know that," Goku replied, his expression shifting to the serious focus that emerged whenever genuine danger presented itself. "That's why I should go. I've faced one of these things before." The Grand Priest considered briefly before nodding. "Your perspective may indeed prove valuable. However, protocol dictates that Universe 10 falls under the jurisdiction of the God of Destruction Rumshi and Supreme Kaigawasu. Your visit must be formally announced and approved." "Can't we just go?" Goku asked, impatience evident in his voice. "People could be in danger right now. Divine territories are carefully balanced, Son Goku," the Grand Priest explained. "Unannounced intervention from higher authorities can be seen as usurpation of established roles." "Politics," Vada translated succinctly, noting Goku's confused expression. "Oh," Goku's face scrunched in disappointment. "So we have to wait for permission while people might be getting hurt." The Grand Priest's smile remained unchanged, but something flickered in his eyes, perhaps approval at Goku's priorities. "Not necessarily. As Zeno's chosen successor, you may issue an emergency observation declaration, which permits immediate travel to affected regions for assessment purposes only." "Then that's what I'm doing," Goku declared instantly. "I declare an," what was it again? "Emergency observation declaration," the Grand Priest repeated patiently. "Right, that thing." Goku nodded emphatically. "So we can go now." Quote. Alara stifled what might have been a laugh behind her hand, while Vada merely closed her eyes briefly, as if seeking patience from cosmic forces. "Indeed," the Grand Priest confirmed. "I shall inform Universe 10's divine hierarchy of your imminent arrival. You may depart as soon as you've assembled your observation team." "Great. Vada, Alara, you're with me." Goku turned toward the massive entrance doors, then paused, glancing back. How exactly do we get to Universe 10 from here? The Grand Priest gestured elegantly, and reality folded beside him, creating a shimmering doorway of pure light. The dimensional transit chamber awaits your convenience. Simply visualize your destination as you enter. Cool, Goku exclaimed, genuinely impressed. Pite weeks of exposure to cosmic wonders. Let's go. As they approached the portal, Vada moved closer to Goku, her voice lowered. You realize this is your first official act as Zeno's successor. The implications will resonate across all universes. I'm not thinking about implications, Goku replied honestly. I'm thinking about people who need help. Something softened almost imperceptibly in Vada's expression. Perhaps that is why you were chosen, she murmured, so quietly Goku nearly missed it. Before he could respond, they stepped through the portal and into their first interdimensional crisis as a team. Universe 10 greeted them with chaos. They materialized in what should have been the serene garden sanctuary of the Supreme Kai's realm, a place of perfect harmony and balanced beauty. Instead, they found a landscape in flux, reality itself undulating like water disturbed by discordant sound waves. The typically lush vegetation shifted between vibrant overgrowth and withered decay in rhythmic pulses. The sky above phased through a spectrum of colors that shouldn't be possible in nature. Fascinating, Alara exclaimed, immediately extending her hands to generate multiple data screens that swirled around her. The quantum fluctuation patterns suggest harmonic destabilization at the fundamental string level. This is unprecedented in recorded multiversal history. It's wrong, Goku stated simply, his enhanced senses detecting something beyond the visual disturbance. The air feels sick. Vada nodded sharply, her divine perception confirming his assessment. Void corruption, but manifesting differently than on Earth. More subtle, more pervasive. Visitors, you've arrived. The voice cut through the chaos, melodic, feminine, with an undertone that seemed to momentarily. Why stabilize the fluctuations around them? Its owner approached from a nearby pavilion, moving with fluid grace despite the unstable ground. She appeared humanoid but with distinct differences that marked her as something else entirely. Her skin shimmered with an opalescent quality, shifting colors like the inside of a seashell. Her hair, if it could be called that, flowed around her head in tendrils of pure energy that resembled aurora borealis, luminescent and ethereal. She wore robes of material that seemed woven from sound itself, patterns rippling across the fabric in response to ambient noise. Behind her walked the familiar figures of Rumshi, the elephant-like god of destruction for Universe 10, and his supreme Kai, Gawasu. Both looked unusually grim, with Rumshi's typically bombastic demeanor subdued to tense alertness. You must be Zeno's successor, the musical woman addressed Goku directly, studying him with eyes that contained galaxies. I am Serena, celestial harmonist of Universe 10. I'm Goku, he responded with characteristic directness, offering a friendly wave rather than the formal bow protocol dictated. Nice to meet you. What's happening to this place? Serena's expression darkened, the colors of her skin dimming slightly. The song is being corrupted. The fundamental harmonies that maintain reality are being rewritten. We believe it began approximately 3 cycles ago, Gawasu added. His typically serene face creased with concern. Subtle at first. Minor dissonance in the cosmic background radiation, slight perturbations in planetary orbits. Then it accelerated dramatically. Rumshi growled, massive arms crossed over his chest. Entire star systems falling out of harmonic alignment. Planets experiencing temporal fluctuations. And now this. He gestured to the unstable landscape around them. Alara's fingers danced through her data screens with increasing speed. The pattern matches known void signatures, but with a specific frequency modulation I haven't encountered before. It's almost as if it's targeting specific vibrational patterns, Serena finished, her gaze meeting Alara's in shared understanding. The patterns that maintain life and consciousness. Can you fix it? Goku asked directly. With your music or whatever. Serena's lips curved slightly despite the gravity of the situation. My music or whatever is precisely what I've been attempting. The celestial harmonist's role is to maintain universal frequency alignment, but this corruption resists conventional harmonization techniques. Where's it coming from? Goku pressed, eyes scanning the horizon as if expecting to see a physical enemy. That's what makes this particularly troubling, Gawasu interjected. We cannot locate a singular source. Unlike previous void incursions that manifest through specific breach points, this disturbance appears to be emerging from within the fabric of reality itself. Like it's already inside, Goku murmured, his fighter's instinct understanding the tactical implications immediately. That's not good. An understatement, Vada observed dryly. If the void has found a way to bypass dimensional barriers and corrupt reality directly. She didn't need to finish the thought. Everyone present understood the existential implications. I need to hear it, Goku decided suddenly. The bad music or whatever is causing this. Serena's eyes widened. That would be extremely dangerous for a mortal mind, even one as unique as yours. The dissonance operates on multiple dimensional frequencies simultaneously. I've handled worse, Goku insisted with the casual confidence of someone who had indeed faced cosmic threats repeatedly throughout his life. If we're going to fight this thing, I need to understand what we're up against. Rumshi stepped forward, addressing Vada rather than Goku. Is this truly Zeno's choice for successor? A mortal who thinks he can simply fight fundamental cosmic corruption. He is unorthodox, Vada acknowledged, her tone carefully neutral, but his approaches have proven unexpectedly effective. Surprise flickered briefly across Rumshi's features at what amounted to a defense from the typically critical destroyer in training. Serena studied Goku intently, her gaze seeming to perceive layers beyond his physical form. Very well, she decided. But I will modulate the frequencies through myself first, provide a buffer between your consciousness and the raw dissonance. She extended her hand toward Goku, palm upward. Your mind will be temporarily linked to my perception. It is an intimate connection. Are you certain? Goku nodded without hesitation, placing his hand in hers. Let's do this. The moment their hands touched, a visible wave of energy rippled outward from the contact point. Serena's aurora-like hair flared brighter, tendrils extending to encircle both their forms in a cocoon of luminescent color. Her eyes closed in concentration, lips moving in what might have been a silent incantation. Goku gasped, his body going rigid as his consciousness expanded beyond normal parameters. Through Serena's perceptual filter, he began to hear what she heard, the music of existence itself. Trillions of harmonized notes forming the symphony of reality, each vibration representing connections between matter, energy, space, and time. And within this magnificent complexity, a wrongness, discordant notes that didn't belong, spreading like infection through the perfect patterns. Notes that didn't simply sound wrong but felt wrong, their very existence an affront to the natural order. It's alive, Goku whispered, his voice sounding strange even to his own ears. The bad notes, they're not just noise, they're trying to replace the original composition. Serena confirmed, her voice merging with the harmonics around them. To rewrite reality's fundamental pattern into something else entirely. With effort, Goku focused his expanded awareness, attempting to trace the corrupted frequencies to their source. The dissonance seemed to loop back on itself in impossible patterns, existing everywhere and nowhere simultaneously. Then, for just a moment, he felt something else, a presence behind the corruption. Not mindless chaos, but deliberate intent. Cold, ancient, patient. His eyes snapped open, breaking the connection so abruptly that Serena staggered backward. Rumshi moved with surprising speed for his bulk, steadying her before she could fall. What happened? Alara demanded, data screens flashing with alarm at the sudden power surge. Goku shook his head, trying to clear the lingering echoes of cosmic music from his mind. There's something controlling it, something watching us right now. As if triggered by his words, the ground beneath them lurched violently. The sky darkened to an impossible black, stars vanishing as if erased from existence. The air itself began to vibrate at a frequency that made their very molecules feel unstable. It's accelerating, Serena cried, her form flickering between solid and energy as reality fluctuated around them. The harmonic corruption is cascading. Vada's hands glow, wed with the violet energy of destruction, her training asserting itself in crisis. We need to stabilize this realm immediately or the corruption will spread to connected dimensions. How? Goku demanded, dropping into a defensive stance as the very air around them began to crystallize into jagged shards of solidified reality. Counter harmonics, Serena replied, her voice strained as she fought. to maintain her own coherence against the growing dissonance. If I can generate a perfect inverse frequency pattern, you'll need an amplification focus, Alara interjected, her analytical mind racing ahead. The power required to counterbalance this level of corruption exceeds individual capacity. The sacred world of the Kais contains a harmonic nexus point, Gawasu offered, his elderly 4M trembling as he struggled to maintain a protective barrier around their group. It was designed for emergencies such as this. Where? Goku asked. The Temple of Echoes, Rumshi answered, pointing toward a distant structure barely visible through the reality distortions. But at this rate of degradation, we'll never reach it in time by conventional means. Goku's eyes narrowed in determination. Then we use unconventional means. He placed 2 fingers against his forehead, reached out with his other hand. Everyone grab on. I need to feel the energy of that temple to teleport us there. Instant transmission won't work across quantum fluctuations this severe, Alara warned, even as she placed her hand on his shoulder. The destination coordinates won't remain stable long enough to. Less talking, more holding on. Goku interrupted with the confident grin that had preceded so many impossible victories. Serena, I need you to hum or sing or whatever you do, give me something stable to lock onto at the temple. Understanding instantly, Serena closed her eyes and began to sing, a single pure note that somehow cut through the chaotic dissonance around them. As she sustained the tone, her very being seemed to resonate with it, aurora hair pulsing in time with the sound. Goku concentrated, extending his senses beyond conventional limits, using the perfect frequency of Serena's voice. E as a beacon to triangulate the temple's position through the quantum chaos. For a moment, nothing happened, then his face lit with triumph. Got it. Everyone hold tight. Reality blinked, and they vanished, reappearing instantly within a vast circular chamber at the heart of the Temple of Echoes. Unlike the chaotic landscape outside, this space remained relatively stable, protected by ancient wards that glowed with straining intensity along the walls. The chamber was dominated by a massive crystalline structure that rose from the center of the floor to the domed ceiling high above, a complex array of resonating crystals arranged in a spiraling pattern that somehow reminded Goku of DNA. Each crystal hummed with subdued energy, the combined vibration creating a baseline harmony that pushed back against the corruption trying to seep through the temple's defenses. The universal resonator, Serena breathed, her eyes wide with wonder and reverence. I've studied the texts, but never thought I would actually. She approached the crystalline structure with raised hands, her fingers moving as if playing an invisible instrument. In response, the crystals brightened, their harmonics shifting to align with her presence. This is a Class 7 ancestral artifact, Alara explained, her academic excitement momentarily overriding concern. Created during the Third Cosmic Expansion by the original Harmony Shapers, the crystalline matrices contain vibrational memories of primal reality patterns. Can it stop what's happening outside? Goku asked, cutting to the practical heart of the matter. Theoretically, yes, Serena replied, her attention focused on the complex crystal arrangement. The resonator can project counter-harmonic patterns across an entire universe if properly activated. But it requires. She hesitated, glancing toward Rumshi and Gawasu with uncertainty. It requires life energy, Gawasu finished quietly. The pure essence of existence itself, freely given, to power the harmonic realignment. Like a spirit bomb, Goku asked, immediately connecting to a concept he understood. Similar in principle, Alara confirmed, but focused through specific frequency patterns rather than raw power accumulation. Quote, outside the temple, reality continued to degrade. Through the high windows, they could see the sky fracturing into geometric patterns that defied natural law. Vegetation transforming into crystalline formations that shattered and reformed in endless cycles. How much energy are we talking about? Goku pressed. Under normal circumstances, the combined NCE of a god of destruction and supreme Kai would be sufficient, Gawasu explained. However, given the advanced state of corruption, it would require significantly more, Rumshi growled, his massive form tensing with frustration. Perhaps more than we can safely provide without risking our own existence. Goku's expression hardened with resolve. Then use mine too. Don't be absurd, Vada snapped, her professional composure finally cracking. You're Zeno's successor. Risking your essence on an untested harmonic realignment could have multiversal consequences. Standing by while an NT Re-universe gets corrupted would have worse consequences, Goku countered simply. Besides, I'm pretty good at bouncing back from impossible situations. Before Vada could argue further, a new tremor shook the temple, more violent than before. Cracks appeared in the ancient stone floor, and the protective wards flickered ominously. We're out of time, Serena declared, her hands already moving in complex patterns that caused the crystal structure to resonate in response. The corruption is breaching the temple's defenses. Then we do this now, Goku decided, stepping forward to stand beside her at the resonator. Just tell me what to do. Serena's eyes met his, galaxies swirling in their depths. Follow my movements exactly. Open your mind to the harmonics. Let your energy flow without resistance. She began a series of fluid gestures, her entire body becoming part of the complex equation as she established connection with the ancient device. Goku mirrored her movements with surprising grace, his martial arts training allowing him to match her rhythm perfectly despite the complexity. Rumshi and Gawasu took positions at other points around the resonator, their divine energies knife sting as auras of purple and green respectively. Vada hesitated only briefly before joining them, her training as a destroyer compelling her to act despite her objections. Alara, Goku called out, no. Breaking his synchronized movements with Serena, you should probably record whatever happens next. Might be useful later. The cosmic archivist needed no further encouragement, her silver eyes tending as she generated a comprehensive array of observation instruments from pure energy. As the four beings around the resonator harmonized their movements, the crystal structure began to pulse with intensifying light. Serena's voice rose in a complex melodic pattern that somehow encompassed mathematical precision within its beauty. The others added their own energies to hers, Rumshi's destructive force, Gawasu's creative potential, Vada's disciplined power, and at the perfect moment, Goku contributed his unique essence, the pure life force of a being who had transcended mortal limitations through sheer will and determination. His energy flowed into the resonator not as raw power but as possibility itself, the embodiment of his lifetime of breaking barriers thought unbreakable. The crystal structure erupted with blinding light, each segment resonating at a different frequency yet combining into perfect harmony. The energy coalesced at the center of the arrangement, compressing into a singularity of pure harmonic potential, then exploded outward in a silent wave that penetrated every atom of existence around them. Where this wave passed, reality stabilized. The fractured sky rewove itself. Corrupted vegetation returned to natural patterns. The very air cleared of the wrong notes that had infected it. Within the temple, the four figures around the resonator maintained their positions through sheer will, channeling more energy as the counter-harmonic wave expanded farther outward, cleansing Universe 10 of the void's influence meter by meter, planet by planet. Serena's voice rose to impossible heights, carrying the harmonic correction to the furthest reaches of the cosmos through sheer force of will. Her form began to flicker dangerously as she pushed beyond safe limits. Seeing this, Goku did what came naturally to him. He stepped closer, supporting her with both his energy and his physical presence. Their auras merged, his golden power stabilizing her flickering form, allowing her to maintain the critical frequency without losing coherence. The intimate connection formed during their earlier mental link deepened unexpectedly, Goku's consciousness briefly touching Serena's own. In that moment of pure connection, something shifted between them, an unspoken recognition, an alignment of purpose and being that transcended normal understanding. With a final surge of combined power, the resonator completed its work. The counter-harmonic wave reached the edges of Universe 10, stabilizing the last corrupted regions before dissipating into the dimensional boundaries. Silence fell in the Temple of Echoes. One by one, they lowered their arms, energies receding as the immediate danger passed. Rumshi stumbled slightly, catching himself against a nearby pillar. Gawasu sank to his knees in exhaustion. Vada maintained her composure through sheer will, though the strain showed in her tightened features. Only Goku and Serena remained standing tall, their energies still artially intermingled from the deep connection they had established during the harmonic realignment. It worked, Serena breathed, wonder and relief mingling in her musical voice. The corruption has been purged. For now, Gawasu cautioned, his elderly voice weak but determined. But this was merely a symptom, not the cause. The void corruption will return unless we address its source. And we still don't know where that is. Rumshi growled, frustration evident in his tone. Actually, Alara interjected, her silver eyes reflecting complex data patterns, I believe I detected something significant during the harmonic realignment. She manipulated her energy screens, expanding one particular pattern. The counterwave revealed echo signatures that appear to originate from a specific dimensional coordinate. In Universe 10, Vada questioned, immediately alert despite her fatigue. No, Alara replied, her expression puzzled. According to these readings, the harmonic corruption originated from Universe 6. Goku's expression brightened instantly. Universe 6. That's where Kaba and Hit are from. And Caulifla and Kale. You seem remarkably pleased about discovering the source of an existential threat, Vada observed. One eyebrow raised. Well, yeah, it means we have friends who can help us. Goku's simple logic was, as usual, difficult to argue with. Serena stepped away from the resonator. Her movements slightly unsteady. Whatever the source, we cannot allow such corruption to spread unchecked. The harmonic damage was far more severe than I initially realized. Had it continued much longer. She didn't need to finish the thought. Everyone present understood the implications of universal harmonic collapse. Then our next destination is clear, Goku decided, his brief exhaustion already fading with characteristic resilience. We need to go to Universe 6 and find out what's causing all this. Not so fast, a new voice interrupted from the temple entrance. They Ned to find a woman standing in the doorway, tall, powerfully built, with the unmistakable bearing of a warrior. Her skin was deep bronze, marked with intricate blue tattoos that followed the contours of visible muscle. Her hair, shaved on the sides but falling in a thick braid down her back, was the deep red of sunset. She wore armor of unfamiliar design, lightweight yet clearly battle-tested, and carried multiple weapons with the casual comfort of someone intimately familiar with their use. Most striking were her eyes, gold with vertical pupils, like those of a predatory cat, which assessed every one present with tactical precision before settling on Goku with particular interest. The multiversal nexus has been compromised, she announced without preamble. All interdimensional travel is currently restricted by order of the Grand Priest. Who are you? Rumshi demanded, straightening to his full imposing height. The warrior woman met his gaze without flinching, a remarkable feat given the God of Destruction's intimidating presence. Carrie of Sadala, she replied simply. Queen of the Saiyan homeworld in Universe 6. Her predatory eyes returned to Goku. And apparently, I've arrived just in time to meet Zeno's successor. The mortal Saiyan who would be God. The multiversal nexus bustled with unprecedented activity. Situated at a unique fold in dimensional space, the nexus served as neutral territory where representatives from all universes could gather without the usual restrictions of cosmic hierarchy. Normally a place of measured diplomacy and cultural exchange, today it hummed with tension as divine beings, cosmic entities, and selected mortal representatives convened for an emergency summit. Goku stood at the center of it all, uncomfortable in formal attire that had been practically forced upon him by the Grand Priest's attendants. The traditional robes of Zeno's successor, white with multicolored geometric patterns that shifted subtly to reflect the current state of the multiverse, felt restrictive compared to his preferred fighting gi. Stop fidgeting, Vada murmured from beside him, her own formal destroyer attire immaculate as always. Every movement you make is being scrutinized by representatives from 12 universes. I can't help it, Goku whispered back. This outfit is itchy, and everyone keeps staring at me and whispering. You're the first mortal, chosen as Omni King's successor in the history of existence, Vada reminded him with forced patience. What did you expect? Before Goku could respond, Alara approached, weaving through the crowd with excited energy. Unlike Vada's restrained elegance, the cosmic archivist had embraced the formal occasion with enthusiasm, her typically utilitarian appearance transformed by flowing robes that paraded actual data streams as decorative elements, information literally flowing across the fabric in luminous patterns. This summit is unprecedented in interdimensional diplomatic history, she exclaimed, silver eyes bright with academic excitement. Representatives from all 12 universes simultaneously gathered in response to the void threat. The statistical improbability of such convergence under normal circumstances is approximately. Alara, Vada interrupted gently, perhaps save the probability calculations for later. The formal proceedings are about to begin. Oh, yes, of course, Alara agreed, composing herself with visible effort. Though I should note that I've been collecting frequency readings throughout the Nexus, and there are concerning harmonic instabilities in the northeastern quadrant that. She fell silent as a subtle change rippled through the grand chamber. Conversations hushed, postures straightened, all attention turned toward the elevated dais at the far end where the Grand Priest now stood. Serene as always despite the gravity of the situation. Esteemed representatives of the 12 universes, he began, his voice carrying effortlessly without seeming to increase in volume. I welcome you to this unprecedented gathering. The matter before us concerns the stability of existence itself. As the Grand Priest outlined the situation, the void incursions, the harmonic corruption, the growing evidence of coordinated attacks across multiple universes, Goku found his attention wandering. Not from disinterest in the crisis, but from an innate discomfort. With formal proceedings when action seemed more appropriate, his gaze drifted across the assembled cosmic dignitaries, noting familiar faces among the crowd. The gods of destruction and supreme Kais. From each universe occupied positions of prominence, their attendant angels hovering nearby with characteristically enigmatic expressions. Selected mortal representatives stood in designated areas, IR inclusion a rare acknowledgement of the multiverse-spanning nature of the threat. Goku's eyes lingered on Kari, the Saiyan Queen from Universe 6. Unlike most present, she made no attempt to adopt formal posture or expression. Standing with a warrior's alertness, constantly scanning the room as if expecting attack. When their eyes met briefly across the chamber, she didn't look away, instead off. Earing a slight nod of acknowledgement, one fighter recognizing another amid diplomatic pageantry. Beside her stood Kaba, the young Saiyan from Universe 6 whom Vegeta had taken under his wing. He appeared distinctly uncomfortable in formal attire, much like Goku himself. When he noticed Goku's attention, his expression brightened with obvious relief at seeing a familiar face. On Goku's other side, Serena stood in quiet dignity, her appearance even more ethereal than usual in formal attire that seemed composed of solidified music. Since their shared experience with the universal resonator, a subtle connection had remained between them, not telepathic exactly, but a harmonic alignment that allowed each to sense the other's emotional state. Currently, beneath her serene exterior, Goku could feel her tightly controlled concern. The Grand Priest is omitting critical information, she whispered, her voice pitched to reach only Goku's ears. The harmonic disruptions are following a specific pattern, one documented in ancient celestial records. What pattern? Goku whispered back, trying to maintain a facade of attention toward the ongoing speech. The dissolution sequence, Serena replied, the musical quality of her voice taking on a minor key. A theoretical cascade failure that could unravel reality itself if allowed to progress to completion. Before Goku could ask for clarification, movement from the Grand Priest recaptured his attention. And now, the divine attendant announced, I present the Omni King's chosen successor, who will address the assembled representatives. Mom. End of stunned silence followed as the implications registered. Goku was being asked to formally address the gathered cosmic hierarchy. No one, not even the Grand Priest, had warned him of this expectation. Vada made a small sound of alarm beside him. They can't be serious, she hissed under her breath. You haven't been prepared for a formal address. Fascinating deviation from established protocol. Alara whispered excitedly. This suggests the Grand Priest is deliberately accelerating your public integration into cosmic authority structures. Goku straightened his shoulders and started forward, his naturally confident stride carrying him through the parting crowd toward the dais. Behind him, he could practically feel Vada's anxiety radiating in waves. As he ascended the steps to stand beside the Grand Priest, Goku faced the assembled representatives of cosmic authority, gods, immortals, and selected mortals alike, all watching with expressions ranging from curiosity to outright skepticism. Hi everyone, he began awkwardly, scratching the back of his head through force of habit. Somewhere in the crowd, he heard Vada's barely audible groan. The Grand Priest's expression remained unchanged, though something that might have been amusement flickered briefly in his eyes. Perhaps you might share your perspective on the void threat, based on your direct encounters, he suggested smoothly. Right. Goku nodded, visibly relieved at the prompt. He straightened, dropping the nervous gesture as his expression shifted to the serious focus that emerged whenever he discussed fighting or threats. I've faced the void twice now, once on Earth and once in Universe 10. It's different from other enemies I've fought. It doesn't just destroy things, it tries to unmake them. Change what they are at their core. His simple yet accurate description captured the attention of the crowd more effectively than flowery diplomatic language might have. On Earth, it came through as this shadow thing, an echo, they called it. We could fight that, at least. In Universe 10, it was trickier, changing the music that makes up reality itself. We couldn't punch that, but we found another way to fight it with counter music. Goku paused, looking out at the diverse gathering, his natural honesty compelling him forward. I'm not good at fancy speeches or cosmic politics. I'm a fighter. That's what I know. And what I know is that this void thing is testing us, sending different kinds of attacks to see how we respond, learning our weaknesses. A murmur ran through the crowd at this assessment. Several gods of destruction exchanged significant glances. It's like when you face a really smart opponent, Goku continued, warming to his subject. They throw different techniques at you, watching how you react, before they show their real power. That's what's happening here. These aren't the real attacks. They're just the warm-up. The Grand Priest's eyebrows rose slightly, the closest thing to surprise his features ever displayed. An interesting tactical assessment. What would you suggest, then, as a response strategy? Goku didn't hesitate. We need to stop reacting and start attacking. Find where these things are coming from and take the fight to them, instead of waiting for the next hit. Bold words from a mortal, rumbled Belmod, the clown-faced god of destruction from Universe 11. Even one designated as Zeno's successor. The dimensional boundaries between existence and void are not so easily traversed. Perhaps not by conventional means, a new voice interjected. All eyes turned to where Carrie, the Saiyan Queen, now stood. Despite lacking divine status, her presence commanded attention through sheer force of personality. But my scouts have discovered something on Sada that may provide exactly what Son Goku suggests, a way to take the offensive against the void. You speak out of turn, mortal, Rumshi objected, though with less force than might be expected from the typically bombastic destroyer. I speak as the ruler of a planet experiencing direct void incursions, Carrie countered sharply, her golden eyes flashing. While the divine hierarchy debates protocol, my people fight for their existence. We've discovered ancient ruins on Sadala, predating even Saiyan civilization, that appear to be designed specifically for interdimensional breach. This revelatio sent a fresh wave of murmurs through the gathered representatives. I can confirm unusual energy signatures emanating from the Sadala system, offered Vados, the angel attendant to Universe 6, a god of destruction. Though the specific nature of these ruins was unknown to me until now. How convenient that such ruins would be discovered precisely when needed, Quatella, the mouse-like destroyer from Universe 4, remarked with obvious suspicion, almost as if they appeared in response to our dilemma. Or perhaps, the Grand Priest interjected smoothly, they have always been there, waiting for the appropriate moment to be revealed. His enigmatic smile revealed nothing of his actual thoughts on the matter. Goku, still standing on the dais, studied Carrie with new interest. There was more to her story than she was revealing publicly. He could sense it in her careful wording, in the tension evident beneath her confident exterior. I want to see these ruins, he declared, drawing attention back to himself. If they can help us fight the void, we should check them out right away. This summit was convened to establish a unified response strategy, Beerus, the cat-like destroyer from Universe 7, pointed out irritably. Not to authorize independent expeditions based on unverified claims. With respect, Lord Beerus, Carrie addressed him directly, fearless despite his destructive authority. Verification requires investigation. I extend an official invitation to Zeno's successor and his advisors to examine our discovery firsthand. Something unspoken passed between Carrie and the Grand Priest, a subtle exchange of glances that Goku nearly missed. The divine attendant nodded almost imperceptibly before addressing the gathering once more. The summit will continue its deliberations regarding unified defensive measures, he announced. Meanwhile, I authorize a preliminary investigation team to accompany Queen Carrie to Sadala. Son Goku, as Zeno's successor, will lead this expedition, accompanied by his current advisors. Relief washed over Goku's face at the prospect of escaping the formal proceedings for actual action. Great. When do we leave? Immediately, the Grand Priest replied. The dimensional transit chamber has been recalibrated to permit direct passage to Universe 6 despite the current restrictions. As the summit erupted into fresh debate over this decision, You descended from the dais to rejoin Vada, Alara, and Serena. That was surprisingly effective, Vada admitted reluctantly. Though your diplomatic technique leaves much to be desired, your assess me. NT of the Void's strategy was insightful. I just said what I saw, Goku replied with a shrug. Fighting's a lot like talking. You have to pay attention to what's not being said as much as what is. This simple wisdom gave Vada pause, her usual critical expression softening momentarily. Alara was already generating new data screens, fingers dancing through information streams. I've begun compiling all available references to pre-Saiyan civilizations on Sadala. Fascinating research potential. Ancient interdimensional technology could revolutionize our understanding of early cosmic development patterns. We should be cautious, Serena warned, her melodic voice pitched low. If these ruins truly offer access to the space beyond dimensional boundaries, they present danger as well as opportunity. The barriers between existence and void were established for a reason. Before they could discuss further, Carrie approached their group, moving with the fluid grace of a natural predator. Up close, the strength in her form was even more apparent, not merely physical power, but the hardened resolve of someone who had faced countless battles and emerged victorious. Son Goku, she greeted him directly, golden eyes assessing him with unconcealed interest. Your reputation precedes you, the Saiyan raised on Earth who achieved godhood through sheer determination. Just Goku is fine, he replied with his characteristic friendly grin. Unaffected by her intensity. And I'm not really a god yet. Still figuring all that out. Perhaps that is precisely why you were chosen, Carrie observed shrewdly. Gods rarely question their own divinity. Such certainty breeds rigidity. Vada stiffened slightly beside Goku, clearly taking the remark as criticism of established cosmic hierarchy. The Divine order has maintained multiversal stability for countless eons, she noted, her tone carefully controlled. And yet here we are, Carrie countered smoothly, facing a threat that this same divine order failed to anticipate or prevent. She turned back to Goku before Vada could respond. The ruins await our examination. My ship stands ready to depart. Ship, Goku echoed, confusion evident. Can't we just teleport directly to Sadala? The ruins are shielded against direct dimensional transit, Carrie explained. A security measure implemented by their creators, apparently. We must approach through conventional space. A logical precaution for an interdimensional breach facility, Alara noted, already recording this new information. Preventing unauthorized access through quantum displacement. Would be essential for containing potential cross-dimensional contamination. Carrie's expression registered brief surprise at Alara's enthusiastic analysis before she composed herself once more. Indeed, if you'll follow me, the dimensional transit chamber will take us to the Nexus docking facility where my vessel awaits. As they moved to follow her, Serena touched Goku's arm lightly, establishing the subtle harmonic connection they now shared. Through this link, he sensed her concern more clearly, not fear exactly, but a deep apprehension about what they might discover. We will need harmony where we're going, she murmured for his ears alone. The borderlands between existence and void resonate with dangerous frequencies. Remember what you felt during our connection in Universe 10. Goku nodded, briefly covering her hand with his own, instinctively strengthening their harmonic bond. I remember. We'll be careful. The brief exchange did not go unnoticed by either Vada or Carrie, though. Both women's reactions were carefully masked behind professional exteriors. As they departed the summit chamber, leaving behind the continuing deliberations of cosmic authorities, Goku couldn't shake the feeling that they were moving exactly as someone, or something, had anticipated. Like a chess piece being maneuvered into position by an unseen player. It was the same feeling he sometimes got during tournaments, when an opponent was thinking several moves ahead. The difference was, this time, he couldn't see his opponent across the fighting ring. And that made him more uneasy than any god or monster he'd ever faced. Carrie's ship defied conventional classification. Part warship, part exploration vessel, it combined sleek efficiency with obvious battle capability. As they boarded through the main airlock, Goku whistled appreciatively at the advanced technology on display. Even to his untrained eye, it clearly surpassed anything available on Earth. The Sodalian Vanguard, Carrie announced with undisguised pride as she led them toward the command deck. Flagship of the Royal Fleet and the most advanced vessel in Universe 6. The interior corridors hummed with energy, lighting shifting to accommodate their presence as they moved deeper into the ship. Crew members, all Saiyans with the distinctive tails of their race wrapped securely around their waists, saluted sharply as their queen passed. Many cast curious or awestruck glances at Goku and his companions, clearly aware of their significance. Your crew seems well trained, Vada observed, her critical eye noting the discipline and efficiency evident throughout the vessel. Sodalian Saiyans value order and purpose, Carrie replied. Unlike our counterparts in Universe 7, we evolved as protectors rather than conquerors. Fascinati. Ing evolutionary divergence despite identical genetic baseline. Alara exclaimed, silver eyes darting everywhere to record details. The influence of environmental and cultural factors on development trajectories provides compelling evidence for multiversal variance theory. Carrie blinked, momentarily taken aback by Alara's enthusiastic scientific assessment. You must be the cosmic archivist. Your reputation for comprehensive analysis is apparently well deserved. You've heard of me? Alara asked, genuinely surprised. I make it my business to know of significant cosmic entities, Carrie replied diplomatically. Particularly those who record and analyze reality itself. They reached the command deck, a spacious chamber dominated by a holographic display system that currently showed their position relative to Sadala. Officers worked at various stations around the perimeter, their movements precise and coordinated. Commander Tora, Carrie addressed a powerfully built female Saiyan at the central tactical station. Status report. All systems optimal, Your Majesty, Tora responded crisply. Course laid in for Sadala. Estimated arrival in 4 standard hours at maximum sustainable velocity. Very good. Our guests will require accommodations during transit. Carrie turned back to the group. I've had quarters prepared for each of you. Commander Tora will show you to them shortly. Actually, Goku interjected, as there's somewhere I could get some training in. Sitting around for 4 hours sounds pretty boring. Vada closed her eyes briefly, as if seeking patience from cosmic forces. We are on a diplomatic mission to investigate an ancient interdimensional breach facility, and your first concern is whether you can exercise. Well, yeah, Goku replied with complete sincerity. Thinking works better when I'm moving. To everyone's surprise, Carrie laughed, a rich, genuine sound that transformed her typically stern features. A true Saiyan response. Even across universes, some traits remain constant. She nodded to her commander. Tora, show our guest to the combat simulation chamber. Combat simulation. Goku's eyes lit up with immediate interest. The most advanced training facility outside of the divine realms, Carrie explained with evident pride. Capable of generating opponents and scenarios based on neural mapping of the user's capabilities. That sounds awesome, Goku exclaimed with childlike enthusiasm that contrasted sharply with his status as Zeno's successor. Can it really create any opponent? Within certain parameters, Carrie qualified. Though, I doubt it could accurately replicate divine beings of your recent acquaintance. Still cool. Goku turned to his companions. Anyone want to join me? Alara was already engrossed in examining the ship's navigation systems, her silver eyes reflecting complex data patterns as she conversed rapidly with the science officer in technical language few could follow. Serena had drifted toward a viewing portal, her attention captured by the dimensional transition effects visible in the space outside. Vada, however, met Goku's invitation with a considering look. Perhaps I should observe this training session. As your advisor on destructive principles, evaluating your combat approach in controlled conditions could prove instructive. Something in her tone suggested more than professional interest. Though her expression remained carefully neutral, I'll join as well, Carrie declared unexpectedly. It's not often I have the opportunity to observe Zeno's chosen successor in action. Your fighting style is reportedly unique. That's one word for it, Vada murmured, just loudly enough to be heard. Goku either missed or ignored the undercurrent of tension between the two women. Great. The more the merrier. Lead the way. As Commander Tora guided them toward the training facilities, Serena finally turned from her contemplation of space outside. I should maintain harmonic monitoring during our transit, she announced. The dimensional boundaries near Sadala may exhibit instabilities similar to those we encountered in Universe 10. A wise precaution, Carrie acknowledged with a respectful nod. The science deck is at your disposal, Celestial Harmonist. My officers have been instructed to provide whatever assistance you require. As Serena departed with another officer, Goku iced something he hadn't expected, a flicker of what might have been disappointment in Vada's expression as she watched the Harmonist leave. The complex interplay of relationships forming around him was something Goku typically overlooked. But his heightened cosmic awareness made him increasingly sensitive to such subtleties. The combat simulation chamber proved even more impressive than Carrie's description had suggested. A vast space that somehow fit within the ship's dimensions without seeming constrained, its walls, floor, and ceiling composed of material that shimmered with latent energy. At the chamber's entrance, a sophisticated control interface allowed for precise configuration of training parameters. This is amazing, Goku exclaimed, spinning in a slow circle to take in the entire facility. Way better than the gravity room back home. Saiyan engineering prioritizes combat advancement, Carrie explained, pride evident in her voice. This chamber represents centuries of technologue. ICAL development focused on that singular goal. Vada approached the control interface, studying it with professional interest. The energy configuration is remarkably sophisticated for mortal technology, almost reminiscent of divine training facilities. We've had inspiration from various sources, Carrie replied carefully. Sadala's history includes contact with entities beyond our own universe. Before Vada could pursue this intriguing statement, Goku had already moved to the center of the chamber, stretching enthusiastically. So how does it work? Do I just think about who I want to fight? Essentially, yes, Carrie confirmed, joining him in the chamber's center. The neural interface scans your combat memory and generates opponents based on your experience. The difficulty adjusts automatically to maintain optimal challenge levels. That sounds perfect. Goku's eyes gleamed with excitement. Can we start right away? I would advise caution, Vada interjected, moving to join them. We don't know how this technology might interact with your developing cosmic awareness. Only one way to find out. Goku replied with his characteristic disregard for prudent restraint. Let's start with something simple. Maybe Frieza from back when I first fought him on Namek. Before either woman could respond, the chamber hummed with energy. The space around them shimmered, reality folding inward as the simulation took form. In moments, they stood not in a training room but on the familiar landscape of planet Namek, green skies overhead, islands of blue grass scattered across vast oceans. And before them, perfect in every detail down to his malevolent smirk, stood Frieza in his final form. Impressive fidelity, Vada noted, studying the simulation with professional assessment. The energy signature is nearly identical to descriptions in cosmic records. Whoa, Goku exclaimed, genuine amazement in his voice. He looks exactly like I remember. Can I fight him for real? The simulation generates physical form through energy conversion, Carrie explained, stepping back to give him space. You can engage as you would a real opponent, though the chamber incorporates safety protocols to prevent actual injury. Goku needed no further encouragement. With a whoop of pure joy, he launched himself at the simulated Frieza, who responded with the familiar arrogant laugh that had haunted so many of Goku's early battles. What followed was a display of combat prowess that left even Vada momentarily speechless. Goku deliberately restrained himself to the power level he'd possessed during that original confrontation, fighting as his younger self would have, without the godlike abilities he'd gained since. The simulation responded perfectly, matching the historical Frieza's movements and techniques with uncanny accuracy. Energy blasts scorched the simulated landscape. Physical exchanges created shockwaves that rippled through the chamber despite its containment fields. He's holding back significantly, Vada observed quietly to Carrie as they watched from the chamber's edge. His current power level exceeds this by factors beyond conventional measurement. Of course, Carrie agreed, her golden eyes tracking every movement with professional assessment. He's recreating a historical battle, fighting as he once did, not as he now could. A peculiar choice for training purposes, Vada noted, her tone suggesting she found the exercise pointless. Carrie's lips curved in a knowing smile. On the contrary, he's re-examining his foundational techniques, the building blocks upon which his current power was constructed. It's an exercise in fundamentals that many warriors overlook once they achieve higher levels. Vada's eyes narrowed slightly as she reassessed both Goku's training approach and Carrie's perceptiveness. You understand combat psychology well for a planetary ruler. I am Saiyan, Carrie replied simply. And I did not inherit my throne, I earned it through combat, as all Sotelian monarchs must. Their conversation paused as Goku executed a particularly impressive combination against the simulated Frieza, culminating in a perfectly timed Kamehameha that enveloped the villain in blue energy. As the simulation reset, Goku turned toward them, not even breathing hard despite the intense exchange. That was amazing. The simulation even remembered how Frieza would taunt during battle. The neural mapping captures psychological patterns as well as physical techniques, Carrie explained. A complete opponent requires both. Can it simulate stronger opponents? Goku asked eagerly. Like Beerus or Jiren, the system has limitations, Carrie cautioned. Divine beings especially are difficult to accurately replicate. Perhaps, Vada suggested with the barest hint of challenge in her voice. You'd prefer a more current opponent. Goku's eyes lit up with interest. Are you offering to spar, Vada? The destroyer in training straightened her posture slightly, Viol. Chi energy flickering subtly around her form. Merely suggesting that simulating past victories serves limited training value. A true test would involve an opponent whose capabilities you haven't fully measured. I'm always up for a good fight. Goku agreed enthusiastically. But I don't want to damage the ship if things get intense. The chamber can contain significant power levels, Carrie assured him. Though a flicker of concern crossed her features. Though perhaps not the full extent of what a destroyer in training might unleash. I can exercise appropriate restraint, Vada stated, removing her formal outer robe to reveal the more practical training attire beneath, a form-fitting version of the traditional destroyer uniform that emphasized freedom of movement. Goku's grin widened as he settled into his familiar fighting stance. This should be fun. I've never fought a destroyer in training before. Begin at 20% capacity, Vada instructed calmly as she took position opposite him. We'll adjust as needed. What followed was a display of power and precision that transformed the training session from casual exercise to serious combat assessment. Vada moved with the refined elegance of someone who had spent centuries perfecting the art of destruction, each gesture economical yet devastating, each stance balanced for both offense and defense. Goku, by contrast, fought his characteristic adaptive style, constantly shifting between formal technique and improvised movement, unpredictable yet purposeful. He maintained the requested power limitation at first, his blue aura flickering at controlled intensity around his form. As they exchanged increasingly complex combinations, Carrie observed with growing fascination. Despite her own considerable combat experience, the level of skill on display exceeded anything she had witnessed outside of divine tournaments. More interesting still was the subtle communication happening through the combat itself, a developing understanding between opponents that transcended verbal exchange. Your form is excellent, Vada acknowledged after successfully countering a particularly creative attack sequence. But you telegraph your intentions through minor weight shifts before major techniques. Really? Goku replied, genuinely interested in the critique. No one's ever mentioned that before. Few would have the perceptual capacity to notice, Vada explained, launching a precision counterattack that Goku barely evaded. It's measurable in microseconds. Their power levels gradually increased as mutual assessment gave way to genuine competitive spirit. Vada's violet destruction energy created intricate patterns in the air as she demonstrated techniques clearly derived from Belmont's distinctive style, yet modified to suit her own approach. Goku responded by accessing more of his Super Saiyan Blue capabilities, his movements becoming faster and more powerful with each exchange. From the sidelines, Carrie watched with increasingly strategic interest. As Queen of the Saiyans, the combat capabilities of Zeno's successor held both political and military significance for her people. What she observed: Goku's natural fighting genius paired with genuine enjoyment of the challenge, confirmed the reports she'd received but added new dimensions to her understanding. More surprising was Vada's engagement. The Destroyer IN training's typically aloof demeanor had given way to focused intensity that bordered on exhilaration. The controlled power exchanges between them carried undertones of something beyond mere combat reigning, a mutual recognition between beings of exceptional capability testing each other's limits. The sparring session might have continued indefinitely had an alert not sounded throughout the ship, its urgent tone cutting through even the intense concentration of the combatants. "Attention all personnel," Commander Tora's voice announced over the communication system. "Dimensional anomaly detected on approach vector. All stations to alert status." The simulation environment dissolved instantly, returning the chamber to its default state. Carrie was already moving toward the exit, her relaxed observation replaced by commanding presence. "We should return to the bridge," she stated, authority evident in every word. Dimensional anomalies near Sadala have been increasing in frequency and intensity. Goku and Vada exchanged a brief glance, mutual understanding passing between them as they powered down to normal states. The easy camaraderie established during their sparring session remained, adding a new layer to their previously formal relationship. Could it be another void incursion? Goku asked as they followed Carrie through corridors now bathed in alert lighting. "Possibly," Carrie confirmed grimly. "Or something worse." "Worse?" Vada questioned, instantly alert to the implications. Carrie paused briefly, golden eyes meeting Goku's with unexpected intensity. "There are things about the ruins on Sadala that I couldn't discuss at the summit. Things that suggest the void isn't merely breaking through dimensional barriers. It's being invited in," a melodic voice completed from behind them. They turned to find Serena approaching rapidly, her normally serene features tense with concern. "I've been monitoring harmonic patterns throughout our transit. The fluctuations aren't random. They follow specific frequency sequences consistent with deliberate signaling." "Signaling to what?" Goku demanded, his casual demeanor replaced by the focused intensity that emerged in true crisis. "Not what," Serena corrected grimly. "Who?" Before she could elaborate, they reached the bridge, where organized chaos greeted them. Officers moved with practiced efficiency between stations, their expressions tense but controlled. The main holographic display showed their position relative to Sadala, and the swirling distortion that had appeared directly in their path. "Report," Carrie commanded, moving immediately to the central tactical station. "Dimensional fracture approximately 2 light minutes ahead," Commander Tora reported crisply. "Pattern consistent with previous anomalies, but significantly larger. Energy readings off conventional scale." "On screen," Carrie ordered. The holographic display shifted, zooming in on the anomaly. Unlike the chaotic tears they'd witnessed in previous void incursions, this distortion displayed unnervingly perfect geometry, a spiraling pattern that rotated with mathematical precision, its edges sharp as cut crystal. "That's not a natural formation," Vada observed immediately, her training in cosmic structures evident in her assessment. "The symmetry is too perfect." "Correct," Alara confirmed, joining them from the science station where she'd been working with the ship's specialists. "The probability of such geometric precision occurring randomly is approximately 1 in 10^87. This is an artificial construct." "A doorway," Serena added quietly, her melodic voice pitched low with concern, "designed for specific resonant frequencies to pass through dimensional barriers." Goku studied the display with narrowed eyes, sensing something familiar about the pattern. "I've seen something like this before," he murmured. "When I was learning instant transmission from the Yardrats. They showed me what the dimensional pathways look like if you could see them from outside." "You're more perceptive than your advisors give you credit for, Son Goku," Carrie remarked with a subtle glance toward Vada. "This is indeed a transit pathway, one that predates any known civilization in Universe 6. Quote, and it just happened to activate as we approached Sadala?" Vada questioned, suspicion evident in her tone. "Not coincidence," Carrie acknowledged grimly. "Consequence. The ruins we're heading to investigate were designed to control these pathways. Our research into them has likely triggered dormant systems." A new alert sounded from the tactical station, drawing all attention. Energy surge detected within the anomaly, Tora reported, tension evident even in her disciplined voice. Something's coming through. The bridge fell silent as all eyes focused on the holographic display. Within the geometric distortion, a darkness gathered, not merely absence of light, but something more fundamental, a negation of existence itself that hurt the eyes to observe directly. Void manifestation, Alara whispered, silver eyes wide as she recorded the unprecedented event. Class 5 at minimum, shields at maximum, Carrie ordered. Prepare evasive maneuvers. But before any action could be taken, the darkness within the distortion changed. Rather than expanding outward as previous void manifestations had done, it collapsed inward, condensing into a form that approached recognizable geometry, a vessel of some kind, composed of material that seemed to absorb light rather than reflect it. That's, Vada began, genuine shock breaking through her professional composure. A ship, Goku completed, stepping closer to the display. Someone's traveling through the void. As if responding to his observation, the unknown vessel completed its transition into normal space. Its design defied conventional shipbuilding principles, angles that shouldn't be structurally possible, surfaces that seemed to exist in multiple dimensions simultaneously, propulsion systems that emitted no visible energy yet clearly generated movement. Scan it, Carrie commanded, her posture tense with readiness for either diplomacy or combat. Scans unable to penetrate hull material, the science officer reported. Composition unknown. No recognizable energy signatures detected. It's beautiful, Serena murmured unexpectedly, her head tilted as if listening to something beyond normal hearing. The harmonic pattern it generates. I've never encountered anything like it. They're hailing us, the communications officer announced suddenly. At least, I think they are. Receiving a signal that's modulating our own communication frequencies. Carrie exchanged significant glances with Goku and his advisors before nodding. Open channel. The holographic display shifted, but instead of showing the vessel's interior or occupants, it displayed a pattern of shifting geometries, similar to the anomaly itself but more complex, more intentional. For several seconds, nothing else happened. They're waiting for us to respond, Alara realized suddenly, silver eyes widening with understanding. This is their language, mathematical rather than verbal. Can you translate? Goku asked, deferring immediately to her expertise. Alara's fingers moved with blinding speed through her data screens. Potentially. The base patterns share similarities with ancient cosmic notations documented in obscure archives. If I cross-reference the harmonic frequencies Serena is detecting. She paused, concentration evident in her expression as she processed multiple information streams simultaneously. I believe the central pattern translates roughly as identity request, or possibly purpose inquiry. They want to know who we are and why we're here, Goku simplified, understanding immediately. Correct, Alara confirmed, looking slightly surprised at his quick comprehension. Then let's tell them, Goku decided, stepping forward. Can you send something back in their language? I can attempt a basic response pattern, Alara confirmed, already constructing geometric sequences in her data display. Though the nuance will be limited by my understanding of their symbolic framework. Keep it simple, Goku advised. Tell them who we are and that we come in peace. As Alara worked to construct the response, Vada moved closer to Goku, speaking in low tones. This is unprecedented contact with an unknown entity from beyond dimensional boundaries. Protocol dictates extreme caution. Protocol also says I'm supposed to be making the decisions now, right? Goku countered with unexpected assertiveness. And my instinct says we should talk before we fight. Vada appeared momentarily taken aback by his direct response, but nodded in acknowledgement. A valid approach. Preparation for less diplomatic outcomes would be prudent. Already on it, Carrie assured her, subtle hand signals to her tactical officers initiating defense preparations that wouldn't be obvious to their observers. Transmission ready, Alara announced. Basic identification, peaceful intent, and inquiry regarding their nature and purpose. Send it, Goku authorized. The geometric patterns load from their ship toward the mysterious vessel, ethereal mathematics dancing across the void of space. For several tense moments, nothing happened. Then the unknown ship's response appeared on their display, more complex than before. patterns shifting with almost organic fluidity. They recognize your authority, Son Goku, Alara translated, surprise evident in her voice. The pattern includes symbolic references consistent with Omni King designation. They know who you are. That's impossible, Vada stated flatly. Your appointment as Zeno's successor is too recent to have reached beyond dimensional boundaries. Unless they've been watching for longer than we realize, Serena suggested quietly, her melodic voice pitched low with concern. The harmonic patterns in their communication contain resonance frequencies that suggest extreme temporal perception. Before anyone could process this disturbing implication, the unknown vessel transmitted again, this time a single, elegant pattern that rotated slowly in 3 dimensions. Alara's silver eyes widened. Invitation, she translated. They're requesting that you, specifically you, Goku, join them aboard their vessel. Absolutely not, Vada declared immediately. Violet energy flickering around her hands. The security risks are incalculable. I agree, Carrie added, rare alignment with the destroyer in training evident in her tense posture. We know nothing about their capabilities or intentions. They came through the void without being corrupted by it, Goku pointed out, his simple observation cutting to the heart of the matter. That means they might know how to fight it, which is why we're here in the first place. A valid point, Serena acknowledged, but the harmonic implications of their vessel suggest technology far beyond our current understanding. The risk is significant. Goku studied the mysterious ship on the display, his expression uncharacteristically contemplative. Then, with the decisive clarity that had guided him through countless battles, he made his decision. I'm going, he stated simply. But not alone. Alara comes with me for translation, and, he glanced at the 3 women who had become his advisors and companions. Considering their unique capabilities, Serena too, her harmonic perception might help us understand them better. And who will ensure your safety? Vada demanded, professional concern barely masking personal worry. I'm pretty good at taking care of myself, Goku reminded her with a hint of his characteristic grin. Besides, if things go bad, I can teleport us out instantly. Interdimensional transit may be affected by their technology, Alara cautioned. Your instant transmission might not function normally within their spatial parameters. Then we'll improvise, Goku replied with the casual confidence that had carried him through impossible situations throughout his life. That's kind of my specialty. Vada looked as if she wanted to object further, but contained herself with visible effort. As your advisor on destructive principles, I strongly recommend against this course of action. However, as Zeno's successor, the final decision is yours. I'll maintain constant communication, Alara assured her, already preparing specialized equipment from her dimensional storage. And record everything for analysis. The harmonic connection between Goku and myself should remain active regardless of conventional communication interference, Serena added. If danger arises, I can project an emergency signal that Vada should be able to detect. Golden eyes narrowed as she assessed the situation with tactical precision. My ship will maintain position and remain at full combat readiness. At the first sign of hostile intent, we will intervene with all available force. Goku nodded, acknowledging their concerns while maintaining his decision. Send them our response. Tell them I accept their invitation, but I'm bringing 2 advisors with me. As Alara constructed and transmitted the response, Goku turned to Serena. Any advice before we head over there? The celestial harmonist considered briefly before responding. Listen to the aces between their words as much as the words themselves. Beings from beyond dimensional boundaries perceive reality differently. What they don't say may reveal more than what they do. Good advice for any conversation, Goku observed with unexpected wisdom. The unknown vessel's response came quickly, a simple pattern that Alara translated as affirmative. Accompanying it were coordinates for what paired to be a docking or transfer point on the vessel's exterior. They've provided spatial reference for direct transfer, Alara explained, already calculating the precise parameters. If you can focus your instant transmission on these coordinates, we should materialize safely aboard. Goku nodded, his expression shifting to the serious focus that emerged when genuine risks presented themselves. He placed a hand on Serena's shoulder and extended his other toward Alara, who quickly moved to join them. Be careful, Vada said quietly, her typically critical demeanor softened by genuine concern. Always am. Goku replied with a reassuring smile that belied the gravity of the situation. Return safely, Zeno's successor, Carrie added, formal title masking what might have been personal sentiment. The fate of multiple universes may depend on what you discover. With a final nod to both women, Goku concentrated on the provided coordinates, reaching out with his enhanced senses to locate the precise point in space. For a moment, he felt resistance, as if the dimensional fabric itself objected to the connection, but his natural ability to overcome limitations pushed through. In an instant, they vanished from the bridge of Carrie's ship, leaving Vada and the Saiyan Queen to exchange tense glances of shared concern before turning their attention to the holographic display where the mysterious vessel waited in silent majesty. The encounter that would reshape their understanding of the void threat, and perhaps the nature of existence itself, had begun. They materialized in darkness so complete it seemed tangible, a velvety blackness that absorbed not just light but sound and sensation as well. For one disorienting moment, Goku felt as if he'd teleported them directly into the void itself. But then his enhanced senses detected subtle differences. This darkness was deliberate, controlled, almost welcoming. "Is everyone okay?" he asked, his voice sounding strangely muffled despite the apparent emptiness around them. "Present and functional," Alara responded, her silver eyes providing the only illumination in the darkness as she rapidly. "Something went wrong with this response, please try again. Continue arc. Blank, _ blank. The end. Thank you for watching this video. Please be sure to subscribe to our channel and like this video.